Do you want to know how to sell your house in Seattle or really anywhere in the country? Well, this is the video for you. You've come to the right place. My name is Christian Harris. I run the C-Town real estate team here in Seattle, and I'm going to go over a few steps on how to sell your house in Seattle. The first step is obvious: find a good real estate agent. Now, you could just Google and find a random real estate agent based on reviews and that sort of thing, but I'm going to say that your best bet is to ask family and friends that you trust that have used a good agent and who they recommend. If you don't have that, I obviously recommend you contact me if you're here in Seattle. If you're not in the area, I have a massive network of friends and vetted real estate agents across the country that I'd be happy to recommend to you. Once you find and select a good real estate agent that you want to work with, the next step is going to be doing a walkthrough of your house. One of the main reasons to do the walkthrough and get eyes on your property is because while the publicly available information on your property is helpful, it is not sufficient to be able to get a accurate home market analysis. You look at the numbers, the automated valuation on Redfin or Zillow or some of these other websites, and they could be off by $100,000 or $200,000 from each other. So you don't want to rely solely on an algorithm that's just taking publicly available data. You need to get eyes on to be able to determine layout, condition, updates, all the stuff that is not publicly available. Once your agent does a walkthrough and a CMA, they'll be able to tell you the market value of your house based on the data, as well as a marketing and pricing strategy for your house based on the current market conditions. The next thing your agent is going to want you to do is to select a listing date, because they will then work backwards from there to schedule your professional listing photos if they do a 3D virtual tour, which we do, if they're going to do a pre-listing home inspection, which we do as well. All that stuff we pay for, it's complimentary. We pay for that up front in order to best position your property. Different agents will do things differently in different markets. There's different standards, so there's definitely a variety and diversity in what agents will do and what money they'll spend in order to best position and prepare your property to get you the most money once it sells and to sell as quickly as possible. So once you have that listed, your agent will schedule the pre-home inspection if they do that, the professional listing photos, a virtual 3D scan or walkthrough. They may also do a sewer scope. If it is an older house, I always recommend doing that to see what the condition of the sewer line is. If you're in a more rural area, they'll probably do a septic inspection and pumping if necessary. Next, I'm going to go into the home preparation process that you as the homeowner are responsible for. But first, if this video has been helpful so far, please leave a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And if you're having trouble finding a good real estate agent in Seattle, give me a call, or across the country, I have a big network of agents I'm happy to help set you up with, so that you have the best experience and best results selling your house. So the next thing you're going to want to do is prepare your house to sell. The things that you're responsible for as the home seller. So that's going to be things like landscaping, making sure that the curb appeal is really nice. You only have one chance to make a first impression, so you want to make it count. Another thing you're going to want to do, whether you're going to be living in the property during the listing period or moving out, is you're going to want to have it professionally cleaned. And one thing you don't want to overlook is the windows. There's nothing worse than spending all this time and energy or money getting your house cleaned and you forget to do the windows and they show up as smears or smudges or little kid handprints in the listing photos on the windows. So you're going to make sure the inside and outside of your windows is cleaned at the same time as you have your house cleaned. And the last thing is going to be kind of touch up. Your agent should have enough experience to tell you, what sort of things they recommend you touch up. Maybe that's going to be interior paint touch up or exterior paint or some siding repair. Maybe a roof. It really depends on the condition, if certain things are at the end of their life, if it makes sense, and help with the home sale of your property. On that note, make sure to check out my other videos on the best bang for the buck on home improvements you can do to increase your home sale value and prepare your home for market, as well as the mistakes that buyers make when they fix things that don't need to be fixed and they're not going to get their money back. So make sure to check out those videos so you're spending your time and energy on, they're gonna have the biggest impact on the sale of your house. So next step in the home sale process is gonna be physically preparing your house. So that's gonna be something your agent typically does, and that's gonna be getting a spare key from you. So they have that for the key box when the house goes on the market. And this is so buyer's agents, other agents that are licensed, will have access to the property to show their clients once it goes on the market. Your agent will also create, or hopefully will create, marketing material, including listing flyers that they will put inside the house. Maybe they'll put some inside flyer box on the yard arm for the for sale sign. They'll also have a for sale sign installed in front of your house for maximum visibility for people driving by and to make it easier for buyers agents to find your property when they're showing. Then on the list day, your house goes on the market. This is the big day. This is when the clock starts as far as the limited window you have for maximum buyer interest. So it'll go on the market on the MLS, and which automatically syndicates out to all the other home search sites like Zillow and Redfin and all the independent brokerage home search sites and platforms. Then the buyer's agent starts scheduling and showing your property. So depending on if it's vacant, it'll be fairly easy because they don't need to get approval to schedule the showings because the house is empty. Or if you live there, it could be a little more challenging, but there's various ways they can either set it up so that the buyer's agent calls you directly on a phone call or text message to schedule the showings, or they can use an app like Showing Time in order to digitally send you an email or text message requesting a showing that you can, by clicking the button, accept or reject or reschedule the showing request. So there's some options there when it comes to scheduling and coordinating showings for your property. Depending on how hot or balanced or soft the market is, will really determine how much interest you get initially up front, whether you get an offer the first day or if you do an offer review date. There's different strategies based on what kind of market it is. Your agent should be able to advise you in that based on where, how desirable your house is, the neighborhood, how competitive the market is, all that sort of stuff. So once you get an offer that is acceptable, typically it's going to be an asking price offer. If it's really competitive, you might get multiple offers with escalation clauses. Then your agent can help you negotiate and figure out which offer is going to be best for you in your situation. Either way, once you accept an offer, that is going to start the clock for the earnest money deposit that the buyer has to do. Typically within 2 business days, that money has to be deposited with escrow, which is the neutral third party, at least here in Washington State. Other states are not escrow states like here in Washington. Some are lawyer states or attorney states, and they do it a little differently in those states. Normally there's going to be an inspection contingency or an inspection period. Typically that's going to be 5 days, could be up to 10 days, where the buyer has the right to have a home inspection done and then decide whether or not the house is in the condition they expect it to be in, and can either move forward with that or they can walk away and get their earnest money back. So obviously the seller is anxious, typically the buyer too, to get past that inspection period, because once you're past the inspection period, you're fairly certain that the house will close. If the buyer does back out during that inspection period or because of the inspection, then you do have to go back on the market, and usually you've burnt a few valuable days, and hopefully you can still get some traction and attention from other buyers before the stigma of it's been on the market too long, what's wrong with the property, sets in. Even if there's nothing wrong with the property, depending on how hot the market is, if it's really competitive, if it's been on a week or two, buyers start saying, what's wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? But if it's a more balanced market, maybe 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, and you may still get, onesies and twosies interest per day or per week. Eventually you'll get an asking price offer, but obviously the longer it's on the market, the less likely you are to get a really good offer, as buyers start having more negotiating power, more leverage, and they're more tempted to offer under asking price offers. So really that first few days is the key, that first weekend, the first week. You've got the maximum attention of buyers, and that's when you want to get an offer. Once you're past that inspection phase, then you've got the lender appraisal. So that's the kind of the second hurdle that you want to get past. You want to make sure that the house comes in at value, as they call it, with the appraisal. There's not really much you can do as far as influencing the lender's appraisal. The bank wants to make sure that the house is worth what they're lending on it, because the house is their collateral for that buyer's loan. Once you're past that appraisal, it's really smooth sailing until closing day. So that, in a nutshell, is how you sell a house and the home selling process in Seattle. Maybe a little different in other states, but again, happy to answer any questions. Shoot me a text, give me a call, drop me a message, and happy to answer any questions about your specific situation.